if I really want to make it, like, if I really plan to actually make it an hour or two, I'm going to have to be a little more careful with how much I speak. How much I read, I mean. So let's see. Scouting. In order to find sites in the wilderness, heroes must scout the land, which takes time. I click on an unscouted tile to show the scout action. So basically, there is an aspect of, like, this is the main map. This is where you will heal as well if you, losing where I am. This is how you will heal too. So by moving around, you will heal up, and that's what recovery rate means. It also takes days to get places. So we have year 1, winter, day 1. To scout here, we'll click here, hit scout. We get to pick these 2 characters because we need them to move. 9 days travel time, 13 days to complete because they're scouting as well. When you send them off to do it, it'll automatically pass days while they're doing this. And I believe once the scouting is done, yeah, sometimes it'll automatically have an event activate like it does now. So, I'm going to let you guys read this. It's probably annoying to have me read everything anyway. So I'll just, like, read dialogue options, I think. Or maybe sometimes I'll read some of the words, too. It's easier for me to read the words, and then, because it can be kind of hard to talk and, like, read at the same time. I hope I leave enough time for you guys to read. I'm a fast reader, so... let's see. So, just deep as vein puddles. Alive, it's alive until the beast breaks through. Ah, so he is stuck with one of those beasts as well then, huh? So basically, he's in this tower stuck with this beast. The romantic poetic guy. But if the old will tell you, precious things go overlooked in ruin. Well, that's true. Ruins can hold really, really precious materials. So. I'm also wondering. Actually, Drake, you seem like the kind of person who talks to yourself often. The book's heavier than its slender spine suggests. Look at all this. So it's full of strange stories, folklore of folk long forgotten. It's old habits die hard. I'm gonna keep reading, even if I say I'm not going to. The Chained Boy gives no great insight. It's the uncomfortable story of a boy shackled to a rock by his parents who sends him his spirit free, moving through the links of the chain that binds him. What's on it? Suggested in the jailer? The world inside it called freedom. Interesting. The Glamdale girl? And as he's reading this, a few blank pages are left. And because he has nothing else to do, he's going to write a story in this book. So, what he does with his time is just write. I accidentally hit twice, so let's actually back up to that one. Pain lights Drake's head. Yep. He made it to the morning. And he wrote his storyline from manuscript. Empty pages are sprouted behind it. Well, that's interesting. This book just randomly makes pages. And now he feels powerful. Now you get to choose a magical weapon. So you can get a spoon or a staff. The spoon is wands, the staff is staves. This is still tier 1 stuff, just like the other stuff was. I personally will probably be going for the staff. I think the staff is probably the one I'll do here. Well, beast, it's time. I'm getting out of here. Rager. And I skipped over it. I'm just so used to skipping over because that's what I do when I play this game by myself, so I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so a Mystic is different from the other two. We actually haven't even been able to go over the other two yet, but he's not technically a Mystic quite yet. He's still a farmer, but he has Mystic abilities, which does make him a little bit different compared to the other two people. He can interfuse with things. This is how magic works in this game. So we're going to walk over here. Oh no. Okay, good. It lagged for a second there. We're going to walk over here, and now it's going to teach us interfusion. So interfuse with an object, then use the object to attack. Use the interfuse ability to connect with fire or scenery. Different types of scenery give different effects and abilities. Many of these let you use the scenery to damage enemies. Interfusion is a swift action, so you can do this at any time and just pick it up. It's also important to note, I want to point out that this Rager is down 3 health and 1 armor, so they made this easier for you. You can hold over what you can interfuse. What you can interfuse will be glowing blue. If you're not close enough, you won't be able to interfuse with like this stuff back here where I could do, but I'm not close enough to it. Not all this stuff will help us. We need to be able to reach the Rager. You can look at what it'll give you. Barrage, 2 to 4 damage, 5 range. And then some description and Splinter Blast. Splinter Blast's not the best, but it does shred and pierce, so it could be good. I think we'll go for Barrage, personally. Barrage is a pretty good ability, actually. I think it's a newer one, though, because I don't remember being here before. It does have a hit chance, just like all of the things. There's actually some other stuff to go into with hit chances that I didn't get to go into last time, but we won't be able to do it this round either, so I'll probably go into it next time we do a fight with the girls too. So the Rager is going to try to get to us. Another thing of note, watch when I grab this table here. See how I see this door even though I didn't see it before? Basically, interfusion has the really nice ability of when you interfuse with something, you will connect with it, and then it will be you'll get extra vision because you have a limited amount of vision. So it's really nice. Let's see if we can just, took it out, nice. Use the Splinter Blast to take it out. It's not really tough. This is just the first few missions are going to be easy. 5 experience. And now he is a full-fledged Mystic. Let's see, Humanist, Mistweaver, and Naturalist. All this is kind of interesting stuff. So basically, these are all advanced interfusions. So when you interfuse with something, this will give you, whichever one of these you pick, will give you different abilities depending on what you infuse with. So Humanist, for mechanisms, it has a passive that will apply poison to enemies who step next to it. Oh, that's not bad. Metal upgrade, Shackles. Shackles is another infusion ability. That's not bad. Tools upgrade, Stunning Barrage. Pretty good. I guess this Barrage isn't new. I didn't remember it. Because I remember Stunning Barrage. And then Shards, which is active Shardnado. So you can do a new ability. So this gives you some new abilities. Mistweaver. Statues passive +1 potency per infused statue. That's not bad. Potency is how you do damage, or at least a part of it, when it comes to Mystics. Garb, 50% chance Mystic reflects damage while infused. 50% chance to reflect damage is pretty good. Books, active, Lore Dumps, which is another attack. Textiles, greater constrict, so you can constrict greater. I mean, that's pretty accurate, tells you right there. Naturalist is pretty good. You get Vine Wrench on plants, a new active ability, and Tree. Upon interfusing with a tree, you enter Gray Plane, which the Gray Plane, as I mentioned before, that's where you're hidden, so the enemies can't see you, and you do damage through their armor. I'm going for Mistweaver because it's a pretty interesting one, and I think it's the one I've used the least out of these 3. Now we have a Sash, and we can only give it to him, so we may as well, although dodge chance on him actually isn't a terrible thing, since Drig might be taking some hits at times. So, it would be preferred if he didn't, though. Okay, so basically we take that guy out, and now we are at Reunion. After we took it out, he rocks out, basically. Still the same world. Closes the tower door, gentle to make no noise. That was Mystic's art that I did. Right tower? Where'd I get it from? Could it have just happened? I think it was probably from the book. Personal opinion. Man, I only barely made it. It burned? Yeah, things are different than they were. Yeah, well, I don't know if you've ever seen something quite like this. A monster? Sure we have. We slay monsters. Okay, well, I do magic. There you go. Okay. So, sites. You've discovered a new site. It still is under enemy control, though, so click on the banner to assault it. So you can... Now we can actually attack this place with all the team. We can actually look at the team, too, because it's kind of changed. Once you get the class types, some things change. Like, we have 1 warding, 1 armor, and she has no armor. So things kind of change once you become class types. You choose the people who you want to go in. We don't really have much of a choice because it's just these guys. So we'll just go in with this team. And yeah, let's go. So we should be able to take this on. I didn't show it. I'll try to show it some other time. But you can hold over the site and see how many enemies are there. Okay, courage and stoicism. I can never remember which one gives what. But I remember courage. I remember both are good. I'm gonna go for courage, I think. Let's do stoicism, because I think I almost always do courage. So let's do stoicism and see what you get for that. Ooh, all heroes plus 1 armor and warding. That is really good. Okay, that's the defensive way of doing things then. Raccoon 1, scrambling through shadows, its barbed iron appendages eagerly twitch, hooves thrown sloppily around beneath it. It runs staggeringly, bellowing in agony. It's agony. Those are our foes. Action points. Okay, we're getting more into this now. So, every hero starts out with 2 action points. I've already gone over this. Different abilities have different costs. I did not mention that, but it is true. Single action ends turn. You can see if that is by that symbol. Single action just costs 1 point, and a swift action. Then free action costs nothing. So, like swap weapon right there. The action points are shown where I've already pointed them out. And yeah, so now a little bit to go over. You can see the walking staff has a passive, so it has 3 damage and 2 range, which is, I didn't realize it actually had 2 range. That's pretty good. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it gives plus 1 spell damage and plus 15 block. The other weapons don't exactly have specialties, but what we do have now is we have Guardian. Guardian will guard against foes. So Brenmei ends her turn and waits for an enemy to come in within range, hitting up to 1 enemy with melee attacks. If we had picked the other option, she would hit 2 enemies with melee attacks. Up to 2, anyway. So, things to keep in mind. Finally, we also have the Ranger who has a new ability. Savi has gained the ability to Silk Step. Silk Step will end your turn, but it will activate, it will make you hidden. It's basically a way for all hunters, I'm calling them rangers, they're hunters. There we go. All hunters have that ability. They all get the ability to Silk Step, and that's where they kind of shine. They do the most damage when they are hidden. So typically you'll want to put them into the Gray Plane. For the next thing to point out, though, I want to actually go to the characters. We can look at relationships here and see that he is a Flame level 2. And this will tell us what it does over here. Flame with 2 hearts is plus 2 damage against enemies who attack Savi until the end of the mission, which is a pretty good ability. Then we also have Savi, who has Crony, and that will give plus 10 block when rolling. with Benmei. So it gives extra block when you're walling. Okay, so it was both. Interesting. And then we just have, she's just a friend. So you can lock the relationship too. You can, if you lock it, then any other further stories they appear in, because you can have them appear in other stories, they will always be in a relationship. What I'm going to do is probably send Benmei in a little bit closer to see if any of the enemies are up front. It doesn't look like they are, so I think we'll move in a little bit. The enemies can't open doors, but they can knock doors down if the Vager had lived long enough. It would have shown you guys that, but I killed it, so it didn't get to. When they are in Gray Plane, this is actually pretty important to mention. When a character is in Gray Plane, many actions will take them out of the Gray Plane, and you have to keep in mind that you will not get wall bonuses. You will, however, get plus 10 blocks still. You will still give the block if you are friends with someone, so that's why being friends and being in the Gray Plane is a pretty good setup. So walk over here, open the door with my swift action. The raccoon is right there, so we're going to Guardian, so if the raccoon gets close to us, we will hit it. It has, so in the upper right corner of its thing, you see how I have 41% chance to hit it? In the upper right corner, it shows that it has a lot of, basically, cover. You can have cover in this game, and it has a lot of it because of how I'm shooting at it. It's also fair to mention that I will lose my hidden capability. Why to do this? Because I am attacking, and so you lose hidden if you attack. What I could do, though, is walk over here. I could show off something interesting here. So let's actually, so we can interfuse with, oh, the vote is in there too. Interesting. So if we interfuse with the bookshelf, we have the ability to see more, but also use Lore Dump, which is an ability that we didn't have before, although it only has 2 range, so we can't actually use it. Fantastic. What is Lore Dump, though? So 2 to 5 magic damage. Very important to keep in mind with magic and what's physical damage, because that goes into account with warding and stuff. And overloads the enemy's brain with knowledge, dealing damage and stunning them. That's a pretty good ability, actually. What we could do, though, is we could Splinter Blast this thing. And if we do Splinter Blast it, it will do some damage. Ooh, we got a stun off, too. Nice. And then you might notice I now have a 100% chance to hit it. This is what we call flanking, I believe is what they call it. When you hit an enemy, you can hit it again. When you hit an enemy, not hit again. When you hit an enemy from one direction, if you hit it from the opposite, so like I hit it from the back, now I'm hitting it from the front, you will have a 100% chance of hitting every time. I think they can still block or dodge, but you will have, but they can't, maybe they can, maybe it's just 100% in general. Either way, I was able to kill it. Unfortunately, the road didn't walk into my trap, so we didn't get to get the, yeah, we didn't get that off, which kind of sucks, but if we walk over here, I'm just out of reach. I can Guardian, though, because it'll have to move to hit. And I can bring you up over here. Drig, it'll have to move to hit either one of us. Shock Trap and Lore Dump, we don't have the range for Lore Dump. Greater Constrict. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably out of range for that. Well, we can find out, I guess. Oh, it's not. Oh, what do you know? So we'll do Greater Constrict on it. It'll give it Hobbled and do 3 damage. We can actually get maybe into a position to hit it. No, okay. Well, flanking brings me up to something a little bit different. A hunter will start off with 2 weapons. The bow and a knife. Knives are it's very important to understand flanking for knives. Knives will do 2 times damage if you are flanking the opponent. Ooh, we got untouchable because we killed it. That's the other thing. That's how that works. So that right there, you got to see now firsthand how the Guardian works. And yeah, so you want to flank if you're using a knife, because if you do, you'll do a lot of damage. So warding is pretty good on like the mystical people usually. Let's see, though, who this will give. So this will put him up to 2.1, so that'll give him 2 warding. That'll put him up to 1.3, so that'll give a 1. And that would also give Brenmei 1. Brenmei is more attack-oriented than defense at the current moment. Drig has a warding. I will give it to Savi because having extra defense, even though I don't want her getting hit a lot, just in case she gets hit by a magic attack, will be good. So... with that, we have now completed it. Which is pretty good, I'd say. We got experience, and now we have a name and an song. Okay, the Watchers of the Leopard is great. Great in the questionability of it. That's what it's great in. Okay. Sorry about that. I wanted to look at something. Magi of the Rain, I don't really get that one. I actually like the Mask of Flint. Legitimately. The Watchers of the Leopard is funny, but I think we're going to go for the Mask of Flint. I usually don't make my own names because, again, terrible at making decisions here. So, after that, the 3 of them are inseparable. Rumors are rampant, heroes are needed. So, with that, we now have the Mask of Flint, and this is their tale. This is the somewhat end of the scripted section, basically. Now we kind of fully begin Chapter 1. So, after you do a mission, a fight of any kind, a calamity will happen. This is what was mentioned at the beginning, where you could choose the amount of calamities, and how it was recommended you only go for specific, like how there's a recommended and a recommended zero for this. After every battle, a calamity will appear. So we have this calamity, the calamity of Rager 1. So now Ragers will appear when we fight. Beforehand, I guess they wouldn't have. I mean, they did, but they only did in scripted sections. This will also tell you all the enemies that can appear. Deepest, Draven, Gorgons, Mosagai, and the Sixel. You can check card view, but it really doesn't matter. The card views all in. You can check the monster view to see what monsters there are. Okay. And so now Ragers can show up because we just got that card, and we couldn't do anything about it because that's what happens with calamities. The tutorial is now complete. So get legacy points by taking new sites. This is where LP is really important. So spend legacy points to recruit heroes, build stations, and cancel calamities. All of these are really important things to do. You can also secure sites. Once a site is free of any control, you can spend some time to secure it. Secured sites provide resources now and at the end of each chapter, which you can use to craft gear out of town or between chapters, which is very important, especially the crafting gear stuff is really good. We will actually want, you want to recruit people when you can, so I'm going to actually send someone off to do that. So the question here is actually who will do better at this. So we will investigate thoroughly to find an item because that's the best thing you can do. I highly recommend doing it. 2 times labor. So Drake will stay here. We can send Savi off then. Yeah, Savi can go. And then we can send Savi over here. This is kind of like a good time to get into moving your characters around and having them do different things. So while they're doing that, Savi can go up here and get Karavu? What's your last name, buddy? Flam. Okay, then she can go get Flam. He, just like everyone else, will also be... He's randomly generated. You can choose yourself if you want. You can change it up if you want to. He has the hooks, Distant, Inhabited, and Wanderlust. A pair of pilgrims on the ocean named their boy Karavu. Where they landed, they built their home. The boy grew up far-eyed and filled with longing. When the moon was shuttered by tree branches, he sometimes saw a beautiful woman picking dandelions. Approaching or calling out would always send her scampering. He sought out a pathway through the fogged forest of his life, there in the shadow of unknown wanderings. The poetical romantic. Again, usually you don't see that many similar ones. I could randomize it, but for sake of time, I'm just going to take whoever we first get, at least for this round. Another soul stand. These are pretty typical. They are random, but they're not like, they happen pretty consistently. So I'm not going to really read through a whole lot of this, but I will try to give you guys enough time to read for yourselves. Okay, so basically, when you recruit a person like this, you get to choose what they will be. Warrior, hunter, or mystic. The typical best thing to do is like pick what you would like best in your team. 2 warriors is usually pretty good to have on hand. You don't always need more than like the 1 mystic consistently. At least, like, having extra mystics is good, but you don't need it right away. For what I did in the last game I played, though, I picked based on the character description, and so the description of Flam. The description of Flam sounded very hunter-esque to me. Hunter or warrior is what I think I would probably do. I could also see it being warrior, so that's why I'm kind of between those 2. Once again, a choice that is kind of harder for me to take. He traveled in the forest. I don't know. I don't really see this guy as a warrior. I'll go for hunter. I think I can. My gut does not say hunter though. Okay, you know what? Let's get ourselves another warrior. Having extra warriors is not a bad option. So once you choose the character and then what you want them to do, they have to train up. They have to prepare for it. So she will be helping him prepare. It will take a while because it's just her. They'll probably finish searching first. Secure site completed. Okay. So once you have completed it, you'll get the stuff as it said, and since we took the time for an item, we have the ability to get an item. We can give Block a chance to... Should we get Savi? No, Savi shouldn't be getting hit. We'll give it to Brinmay. And then we could have... There's a couple of options now. You can prepare defenses, but incursions are not likely to happen in the first section, at least not at this moment. We could scout ahead, or we could go back and help the recruit. I think we'll probably go back and help the recruit because it will take less time. I can mention now, you can see that this time went pretty fast while we were waiting. That's because the, getting distracted, this happens a lot. This will go down as days go by. Once this reaches 0, calamities will strike, and calamities are basically, well, the calamity cards that we saw earlier. So once that reaches 0, more cards will show up. I think we're going to send these guys back, though, because despite that it will take some days, it will speed up training a little bit, and then we can get Kararu Flam to join our team. So he has the ability to get Untouchable, which we've already gone over, Blood Rage, passive, infuriated by wounds, Flam, deals +1 damage for every 2 health he is missing. Or you could go for Shield Shear, which once every other turn as a swift action, Kararu shreds 2 of the foe's armor with his weapon. That's not bad, but that's not the best. These are not... Okay, Untouchable is great, so I'll go for that, but I like to have my warriors be different, have different skills, so I was really hoping to have a different skill. I could reroll, but I only have 2 LP, and I don't want to use it on this. It always costs 2 LP to reroll. You can reroll as many times as you have the LP to do it. It's important to get the character as soon as you can, though, because then if you recruit the character right away, you can start leveling him up right away. Infested tiles are unsafe. We're already getting into this. Infestations increase the strength of the source threat, can ambush groups of 2 or 1 heroes, and over time will spread and turn into an incursion. This is why you want to have 3 heroes at least usually going through an area. You can clear infestations by taking out the source, or by sending a group of heroes on patrol on the tile. We're standing on an infestation, but we have 4 people, so we will be fine. So we can just continue scouting. The infestation has grown, as you can see, and an incursion is why we would build the defenses that we could have built, which I guess I was wrong, and they didn't happen faster than I thought they would. Basically, we could build a defense here, and when the incursion comes by, the defenses will make it harder for the incursion to get through the town. But we'll come on to incursions when they happen, because trust me, they will happen, and they're really hard to stop. We have 268 days to stop this one. We might be able to stop it, but we may not, so we'll just wait and see. Now we're going to patrol this area, and you can watch, this is going to go from strength 4 to strength 3, because we patrol. It's almost always worth patrolling unless you feel like you're strong enough to do the extra fighting. Then sometimes, in some cases you are, so